Hey everyone, hope you're well and looking forward to our Dharma class. So let's do the chanting straight away. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami, Tatayampi Buddham saranam gacchami, Tatayampi Dhammam saranam gacchami, Tatayampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Through the positive potential I create by practicing the six paramitas, may I soon attain enlightenment in order to benefit all sentient beings. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May they be free from suffering and its causes. May they never be parted from the happiness beyond suffering. May they abide in equanimity, free of bias, attachment to the near, and aversion from the far. I shall cause this great compassionate Buddha, please inspire me to be able to do so. Reverently I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every types of offerings, actual and mentally transformed. I confess all of my negative actions accumulated since beginningless time, and rejoice in all the virtues of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until cyclic existence ends, and turn the wheel of Dharma for all sentient beings. I dedicate the virtues of myself and others to the great enlightenment. However innumerable all sentient beings are, I vow to save them all. However inexhaustible my delusions are, I vow to extinguish them all. However immeasurable the Dharma teachings are, I vow to master them all. However endless the Buddha's way is, I vow to follow it completely. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum. Tayata Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisoha. Tayata Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisoha. Tayata Gati Gati Paragati Parasamgati Bodhisoha. So, time for a little bit of meditation now. Hopefully you've practiced meditation already today, except in England, maybe not yet. But in Australia, definitely you've had lots of opportunities, even if you have busy lifestyle, families and so forth, you've had the opportunity. The only reason you didn't practice meditation already is because you didn't make the effort to do so. Okay, so, but I don't know these things, do I? I practiced a couple of times this morning, actually 3 times this morning, different times for different lengths. And I think it's important, to practice meditation. It's the way that we get to know our mind. It's also the way that we get to spiritual realizations or to achieve spiritual realizations. For the Buddha said, and great masters have said, that the realizations, these epiphany moments, these wake-up moments, enlightened moments, they happen during meditation. You may create the causes of them in meditation or doing other things, using the contemplative skills, contemplation skills, and so on, right? But the actual moment of awakening, you could say, loosely, at that time happens in meditation. So meditation is, you could say, in a sense, if you look at it, it's the three aspects of the path there, isn't it? I don't mean now the renunciation and bodhicitta emptiness. I'm talking about the three Like for instance, the foundation of the path, the root. So the meditation practice is like the foundation there because you get to look in your mind. You can say that the true foundation is the other two truths, so the relative truth and the ultimate truth. Through meditation, we get to utilize the relative truth to eventually penetrate, go beyond, and realize the ultimate truth, which is the third, actually, part of it. The second part is the path. So you say the foundation, then the path. The paths are Four Noble Truths, the Eightfold Path, all of the other aspects to be put into practice. You realize this with meditation. And then, of course, the result of the path, the result of the Dharma path, enlightenment. Realize that in meditation. So meditation is indispensable. Okay, so now we will do our, what you could say, our ordinary meditation, not extraordinary yet. The method is extraordinary, so simple, so easy to practice, but difficult if we haven't created the habit to do so on a consistent level, constantly. So we need to create that habit to go beyond ordinary to extraordinary. Eventually, you won't even need to think you're meditating. You won't even need to think, oh, I need to sit down and meditate, because you will be meditating all the time. Okay? So let's relax our body, bring our mind inside the body, and we will briefly practice this with not much details this week. You can do by yourself. So you release the tension all the way from the tips of your toes, up your body to your shoulders, down to the tips of your fingers, and then to the top of your head. So let's take a few moments to do this now. And now you can scan the body once more to see if there's any tension that you've left there. If there is, release it. Now bring your mind, initially your focus, to the tip of your nose. The object, as per usual, of the meditation is the feeling of the breath as you breathe in your nose all the way into your lungs and back out your nose again. Breathing in and breathing out. And if you like, you can add the extra technique of counting the breaths. So one in breath, one out breath is one, and so on. Don't count past 10. And if you get distracted on the way towards 10, then go back to 1 at that time. So try to keep your mind seamlessly on the feeling of the breath as you breathe in and out. And if your mind wanders away from your focus, from the breath, the feeling of the breath, don't worry about it. Just simply be aware of that, and then conscientiously replace your mind back onto the breath. So if thoughts arise or any other mental activity arises, don't cling to it or grasp at it. Try to force it away either, or deny it. But simply and naturally just replace your mind back onto your breath. And as you do so, you let go of the thoughts or activities. And if your mind becomes a bit dull or sleepy, then wake it up a little bit by refocusing on your breath more brightly. So let's practice like this in silence for a little bit. So now we can feel pleased with ourselves and fill ourselves with universal loving kindness. Having the feeling of universal loving kindness fill our whole being, as well as utilizing the visualization technique of filling your whole being with the white light. Appreciate yourself. Forgive yourself for any wrongdoings, or maybe it's even things that you thought or think you should have done in the past you didn't do. Forgive yourself. Forgiveness is very important, forgive others. Don't hang on to stuff. Put down the mental baggage. So forgiveness sort of comes under the umbrella of metta, of loving kindness, as well as appreciation and respect, friendship, and so on. So fill yourself with so much universal loving kindness that it now overflows and radiates outwards to others. Radiates out from your heart center. It enters into the heart centers of your loved ones initially and fills their whole being with the universal loving kindness too, in the form of the white light, as well as the feeling, having the wish that they are happy, free from suffering, and are peaceful. Now also include strangers and do likewise. And also those you may find difficult or regard as enemies, do likewise towards them as well. And now beyond just human beings, to include and radiate this loving kindness out to all sentient beings. We'll start around our immediate area. So even if it's your own garden or just around the property where you live, there are innumerable living beings around. Many you can't see and couldn't even see even through a microscope. They are so small. There are many, maybe different realms of existence. We can't perceive them as human beings. We are limited to really perceiving human beings and the animal realm as well. So to all of the sentient beings around our immediate area, great or small, short or tall, seen or unseen, near or distant, born or to be born, the ones that fly through the air, live on the land, even under the land, in the waters, born from wombs or eggs or moisture, or through transformation. Extend this universal love and kindness to all of them, without exception. Now further and further distance-wise, throughout your whole state or county. And other states and counties throughout your whole country. And all of the countries throughout the world. Those you have an affinity towards, those you are indifferent towards, which I imagine is most of them, and those you may have some negative feelings towards. Have your loving kindness also pervade throughout all of the oceans throughout this world, all of the other waterways like lakes and rivers and so on, all the way down to the core of the earth and to the outermost atmosphere. Have this planet and it surrounds its atmosphere and so on, be filled with universal love and kindness. Now beyond this planet alone, throughout the whole solar system. And the whole galaxy and universe and beyond, until your loving kindness pervades throughout infinite space. Also note here and now a few things. This loving kindness is generated in your own mind or heart. Now it fills infinite space, beyond limit. And the innumerable beings throughout infinite space. You are radiating this loving kindness to all of them. You are not separate from them. You are not separate from infinite space. So now let's recite the dedication prayer. Due to this merit, may I soon attain the enlightened state of the Buddha, so that I may be able to liberate all sentient beings from their suffering. May the precious Bodhicitta, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. And may the precious view of Shunyata, not yet born, arise and grow. May that born have no decline but increase forevermore. So, just wanted to share with you, well, those of you in Australia, especially around Melbourne, you know already, but I'll share with you in England and also to the people that watch the video later in the Asian countries, I think in the USA as well, that it's really hot today. I'm looking at my computer screen here. It says 35. Surf Beach here at Phillip Island was supposed to be about 31 or 2 or something like that. But I went outside not long before class to actually take the rubbish out, but also to pick up dog poo. Just I do that daily, so it doesn't sort of accumulate. Anyway, it was so hot, really hot. It feels like about 40. And I think Melbourne is supposed to be about 35 plus, but I'd say it's probably warmer. It feels warmer up there. Not sure what it's like up in Sydney. I didn't look at the weather. I very rarely look at the weather, actually, apart from where I'm at. But yeah, really hot. I'm sweating. And my mum's got the air conditioner on out in their lounge, which is it's a necessity. Excuse me. I put my teeth back in. It's a necessity today, that's for sure. But this room here actually heats up quite quickly. And I do have a fan above me, but it sort of flickers with the audio or the video, I should say. And the audio, it goes, so I don't put it on. I think for 40 minutes or an hour, if we are lucky, then I can deal with it, And then I'll just have a t-shirt on later or something. Okay, so hopefully you're well, you're practicing well, and hopefully you've been studying the Dharma. I always say we should learn something every day of the Dharma or something useful, whatever that may be. Just learn something every day. Even if it's only one thing, learn it well. And then contemplate, think about it. Think about what needs to be contemplated, what needs to be known, not just other sort of worldly things that come and go and they're not sort of useful, they're not sort of meaningful, I should say, but something meaningful and something that is worthwhile, Absorb your mind with it, get to know it. And then we will consistently improve daily. I like to say, as you've heard me say this before, if we practice well, if we do as I just mentioned, then we will be better today than we were yesterday. And we will be better tomorrow than we are today. We will consistently improve. Every now and then, of course, because of our imperfections, our faults, whatever, we could go back. But recognize that, get back up, move forward. Remember the example, you're on the Dharma path, heading towards what we call enlightenment, riding a bike, let's just use that example. Then you fall off your bike. Maybe you weren't mindful, weren't aware. Maybe some negative karma, the results of that popped up. And then you fell off your bike. And maybe you hurt your knee or something like that, just a little bit. Anyway, you have some band-aids on you. You have some antiseptic. You put the antiseptic on your knee, put a band-aid on your knee, and then when you're ready, you get back up onto your bike and continue going in the same direction, the right direction, towards what we call enlightenment. Don't be disheartened. Just deal with it at that time. Don't think, oh no, I fell off my bike, I'm ouch. Don't think like that. Just think of the solution. Go, okay, the solution is I've hurt myself a little bit, and I need to clean it. I need to also put something on it to protect it. And then I continue onwards. Undaunted. Okay, so we're continuing to have a look at this song, this the last teaching in the book, and specifically about shunyata, emptiness, but which also includes anicca or impermanence and so on, okay? All of the Dharma path. And so we'll look at this now, and we're kind of cross-referencing with the Diamond Sutra, only a few parts, a few stanzas in there. But we'll do this week, and then next week we'll finish it for sure. I was going to do it this week, and then I looked at it and went, you know what, we can do another week with this. And then after that, we will get on to, obviously, Master Atisha, his teachings. But I think I mentioned to you a while ago, there's an article that I rewrote, sort of added a bits to, that I wrote initially in 2017. It's called The Growth of Buddhism in Australia. It's not only about the growth of Buddhism in Australia. We're talking, there's teachings within this article. Anyway, I was asked to attend initially a conference in Japan, the World Buddhist Association, is it? World Buddhist Mission, I think. And they having this conference, Pillars of Buddhism. I'm very honored, very fortunate, humbled to be asked whether I would accept an award or an honor like this, as well as some other people I mentioned. And so I said yes, and they wanted me to give a teaching, which I did. I recorded it. Thank you, Leanne, for doing that. I think I even did it around December, and sent that to them, and also rewrote and sent off the article to be presented at the conference. Okay, so both of them to be presented at the conference. And so anyway, I thought we could go through that. It's got some teachings on, being good influence on others and so on, okay? And some other nice info, so a little bit different for you. And so we'll do that. I don't know how long it'll take. It's like what is it? Actually, might as well, rather than guessing, just have a little look. So it's almost two pages long. Okay, so a little bit longer than the one we're doing now, but not much. And this one we're doing now has got a lot of details. Sorry for putting my arm in front of the camera. But it's got a lot of details in this one. That's why it's taken so long. By the end of next week, it'll be part 7. So initially it was only going to be 1 week. But, Dharma, we have all these words, We have some words that can be expanded upon. The word shunyata needs to be explained, what it is, what it isn't, and so on. So I won't read the entirety of the article. I'll just do the song and get a part the way through now, maybe all of it. What have we got, 11 minutes or something? So the song, once again, is everything. It's like a flicker of a lamp, the life of a flower, a star at dawn, a dewdrop in the sun. The other verse, everything is like the changing of the tides, lightning in a summer cloud, a bubble in a stream, a phantom and a dream. Thus shall we think of all this fleeting world, with the chorus being everything comes and goes, no space, no time, no thing knows everything. Let it go. Don't hang on to the past. No one owns anything. And so basically, if you look at it like this, when I said everything, I'm talking about all conditioned phenomena. Not talking about enlightenment now, okay? Not talking about unconditioned. Nirvana, cessation, nirodha. Anuttara samyak sambodhi, or Samma Sambuddha. Not talking about this, okay? Talking about conditioned phenomena within samsara. All things. In fact, you can think about it like this. Comes and goes, no coming, no going. Really, when we say comes and goes, it's like show of impermanence. Something comes into being related to the cause and effect and conditions, and then disappears from being. So there's no coming and no going, isn't it? It's beyond that. And once we realize that clearly, then this, you could say we get a glimpse of unconditioned. But right now we experience conditioned, so we utilize it so that we can go beyond it eventually. So when I'm saying everything, I'm saying all conditioned mental and physical phenomena. Mental phenomena, such as thoughts, such as attitudes, mental afflictions, the good qualities too. The other activities we have is like images in the mind, some sort of belief and opinions, sounds in the mind. We're always saying sounds, we may not think so, but we do. We associate certain sounds, certain words or phrases or whatever with certain concepts. And this is always happening, having some sort of belief, some sort of mental feelings. This is the mental phenomena that I'm talking about. And then also we have the physical phenomena, including all of our body. The five skandhas comes into play again here, the form, our physicality, as well as the four aspects that relate to mentality. The mental feelings, perception, mental formations, and consciousness. So when it comes to physical things as well as other living beings, as well as all physical things that we know about and that we don't know about. Okay, so that's what I'm talking about, all physical phenomena. Okay, so mental and physical phenomena. So let's go through the teaching. It's like a flicker of a lamp, just like the flame of a candle flickering in the wind and never ever remaining the same. So it'd be nice if I had a candle here and could show you. If you have a candle, then even if there's no breeze, even if you hold your breath, there's still some differences in the flame, isn't it? It changes just tiny bit even. But of course, if we're near the candle and we're breathing, then the candle will be affected by our in-breath, our out-breath. If there's a breeze, or if there's a big wind, candle blows out, never staying the same. But can we light the candle again? Of course we can. Just have to take it out of the wind, get a lighter or get matches, or rub two sticks together, like the old days. And so you know that this flickering flame on the candle never stays the same, even for a moment. So how can we say that that's a self? We're given an identity that it's a flame, or that it's flickering, or that it's a candle, some sort of light thing. And it's always changing, never remaining the same for a tiny little moment even. So everything is like a flower. That one, I should cross-reference here, actually. Just bear with me for a sec. So the flickering of a lamp, in the Diamond Sutra, it says a flickering lamp. And the way I wrote it is like a flicker of a lamp. Okay, so it's quite closely related. The next one I added, it's not in the Diamond Sutra, but the life of a flower. The life of a flower is very brief and in a constant state of flux, dependent on many changing conditions. Now, of course, we have the different types of flowers, don't we? We have flowers that actually maybe only last a day, especially a hot day like today, dry wind, maybe even less. We have some flowers that last a long time. So we can utilize the examples of all of these different types of flowers to say that everything is changing constantly. We can't see it with our eyes a lot of the time. Maybe if you check, an hour later, after you see our beautiful flower, nice and plump, nice and healthy, maybe on a hot day, an hour later, maybe you can see it drying up a little bit. But with our eyes, we can't see the constant state of change. But we can know that that's the case. Things don't go from being, beautiful and alive to withering like that. It's a constant state of change. And a flower is also, I like to say that in a flower, you can see the whole universe. You can see this impermanence. You can see this, arising, coming into play, existing for a while, then disintegrating, and then gone. Just like all of life, like the whole universe, like this, all things, from the mental to the physical, okay? Yeah, and also the flower is very beautiful, something that's very nice. but also has the opposite, doesn't it? Because maybe you sneeze a lot if you have the flower and the pollen there, you know. So we can contemplate all of these different aspects to be able to go beyond clinging, attaching to the flower, or having an aversion for the flower. You know, we can go beyond all that and realize, okay, this is an expression of impermanence. This is an expression of emptiness. This is an expression of Buddha nature. Of course, the lotus flower is a perfect example from a flower point of view of enlightenment, you know. It's the stem growing out of the mud under the water, the stem rising up, and then having the bud close when the sun's not on it. When the sun comes out, it blooms, opens up. Just like when we have wisdom and compassion, the mind is enlightened like that, you know. So I won't go into more detail of that. So the flower is dealt with. A star at dawn, and the Diamond Sutra says exactly that, a star at dawn. So I've taken it from the Diamond Sutra, that one. And when the sun comes up in the morning, the so-called stars that appeared in the night sky disappear. It's interesting, isn't it? We have this idea of stars, flickering stars, and some of them very bright, some not so bright. Many of them actually are suns, maybe different galaxies, maybe, you know, different solar systems and so forth. And so they're actually looking into the past, because it takes a long time for light to travel. And so we see these things, and yeah, it looks very nice in the nighttime, you know. But what are we seeing? We're seeing the reflection of some sort of physical body. But like I said, it's in the past. It's gone. But we still see it. So that proves that it's empty of itself. More proof of that is when the sun comes up in the morning, the stars disappear. The so-called stars. We can't see them anymore because the sunlight takes over. Okay. So I think maybe 1 minute or so to go. The next one says, in fact, I've got the clock up here. It's three minutes to go. A dewdrop in the sun, and what does it say? That's what we think of it as fleeting world, a star at dawn, a bubble in a stream, a flash of lightning in a summer cloud, a flickering lamp, a phantom and a dream. So that one is also added, although I must say that it's actually, I've taken it from a different part of a sutra, Prajnaparamita, Perfection of Wisdom Sutra. Okay, a part that is nicknamed, you could say, or titled the eight illusions or something like that. And so that is part of that. So it's not in the Diamond Sutra as such, but it's in another one. And so it says, a dewdrop in the sun, the dew or moisture that gathers on grass and other plants overnight evaporates in the warmth of the morning sun. So we always have this water around, don't we? Sometimes it's rain, sometimes it's ocean, sometimes it's a lake. You know, sometimes it's just in the air, it's humidity in the cloud. It's constantly changing. And this, often we have some sort of moisture on plants or grass in the morning. And then, of course, the warmth of the sun dries it up. That water doesn't disappear, it becomes something else. It evaporates, goes into the atmosphere, becomes something else, constantly changing. And also remember that water, or H2O, you know, a balance, an even balance of oxygen and hydrogen. Without this even balance, or without one of these properties, water doesn't exist. With these properties and the right balance of them, it exists. But there's no self. Does it exist or not exist? You can't really answer that, you know, relative sense. But we can contemplate it, so we can go beyond clinging to it, let go of attachment, let go of aversion, and so on. Okay, so less than a minute to go. I'll leave it there and pick it up next week. So, very hot. I think I may go and lift my pants up and walk on the water's edge with my feet in the water for a little bit. So I will see you next week. I rejoice in your goodness as per usual. Please study and practice and share the Dharma to the best of your ability. Okie dokie. Take care of yourself, especially your mind, but also the body. Namo Buddhaya, Namo Dharmaya, Namo Sanghaya. Water.